one more time in this fourth preseason game. And Murphy going to field and take a knee. It'll start with a touchback. Starting safeties. By the way, the starting offensive unit for the Jets is on the field to begin the game. And Bilal Powell taking the handoff is going to get dropped for a loss back to the 22. Golden opportunity for these guys, for the Eagles defense, going up against the Jets number ones here to try to show something. And show they are right now of these first two plays.
Strong.
Four-man rush coming on third down and long. And Josh McCown, who is the opening day starter for the Jets, completes the pass,
but special teams is critical tonight for all these guys.
Lachlan Edwards punting it away, second-year punter, and Pumphrey back to handle the punt return duties. Lets it roll. And the Jets are going to get favorable field position out of that Edwards punt all the way down to the 22-yard line. 47 yards and no return.
In any of the games.
Working out of the shotgun, first down, the handoff to Clement, and he is straight ahead running. And good yardage out across the 27. On second down. And through the middle. Huge hole opening up. And Clement on 2 carries has the Eagles a first down. 8 yards on that pickup. It was something that people were wondering about, and you even got an opportunity to talk to him about it. That throw to the outside for Holland's going to be good for yardage out to the 43-yard line.
But it's definitely Clement.
Dad, are we sure about this? McGloin on play action, firing out, and Treggs has it in Jets territory down to the 45-yard line.
For the Jets.
Took a shot right to the face as he caught that ball. Clement just gets nailed in the hole by Demario Davis. Second down and 11. And back to the ground once again. And
it was the 4x200. We came in third, lost to a bunch of fast Jamaicans. But he said it was so cool being at Franklin Field and being in Philly for that.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 66. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Third down, now it's 4, a little bit more manageable. McGloin right on time to the outside, but that comes in a little bit too high for Marcus Johnson. McGloin with a little bit of time, nobody open, fires late. Clement trying to make something happen, but he stepped out of bounds.
Double stuff.
Great job. Oh, goodness. Wow. Jalen Watkins just laying a hit on Robbie Anderson after a 5-yard catch.
Up 3 corners battling for probably one spot.
And the nameplate on the back of your jersey is what hits the ground first. Defense trying to stand up again on third down and 4. Josh McCown with a little bit of time, and that's a completion. And it's going to be good for first down yardage. And 15th year now in the league. He started for 6 different teams. This will be his 7th. That's good yardage. Headed down the sideline and dancing out of bounds is Austin Safarian Jenkins. That means that former Penn State Nittany Lion Christian Hackenberg is in at quarterback for New York. Hackenberg's story has been an interesting one, and wasn't able to do it. Late flag comes in on the play.
And Bryce Petty played really well last week, and then he got hurt. So this quarterback situation for the Jets has been kind of a mess.
Well, apparently McCown's going to be okay to go.
Good. Good.
Holding, offense number 76. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Petty developed.
After that holding call, first down and 19, and that pick was right there. And the ball falls incomplete. Tried for a juggling catch by Anderson, but
the quarterback and jumped it.
On second down, pretty big hole in the middle for Powell, and he gets tripped up inside the 30 down to the 28. On third down, they set up the screen, well blocked, and Powell trying to make something happen. Gets to the outside, he's got a first down inside the 10. So first down and goal. McCown throwing, and not a whole lot happening after the catch. Second down and goal, and it's Powell buried in the backfield.
Run on the way to the quarterback.
Third down and goal from outside the 10. McCown thrown and bounced it to Kenbrell Tompkins. Last seen with the Arizona Cardinals, nearly 85% on career field goal attempts for him. And he bangs that one through to get the Jets on the scoreboard. Jets drive summary brought to you by Geico, saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. There's Pumphrey, who we were just talking about. He's going to try to return this from nearly 5 yards deep. Little burst of speed to the outside and taken down well shy of the 20. First down from the 16-yard line. McGloin timing throw, and it's there for Matt Collins. He's got himself a first down out to the 27. On the near side, the deep back is Byron Marshall on first down. And Marshall with the carry. Changing direction, making something out of nothing, and getting it out to the 40-yard line for a pickup of 3. I'm going to get a fair amount of action tonight. Second down and 7. McGloin's throw, and Marshall's there, but that was well timed out. That was one of the 2 studs that they had picked up for their secondary in the draft, Jamal Adams, I should say. McGloin once again has some time. That throw a little bit behind, but Tregg's trying to make something happen. It's going to be about a yard shy of the first down. Cameron Johnston now on to punt it away. And a fair catch called for and made by Derek Jones inside the 15-yard line. A 50-yard punt. That's backed up inside their own 15-yard line. Christian Hackenberg now in at quarterback, and that carry is going to result in just about nothing on first down.
Difference meant for you?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been quite the whirlwind of a year, but just having those 16 games under my belt, getting the full rigor of a season and everything, I'm just a lot more comfortable mentally.
In your foundation, how can fans follow you and support you?
Yeah, so the website is aonfoundation.org, and it's just a really cool opportunity to just help give back to.
I think he's got something open to the public at Eastern University. I think it's September 6th where he's going to talk about faith and being on the field.
That's Pumphrey. A little bit of a chance to bring this one back. Flag gets thrown on the play after a short return out across the 38-yard line of 2 yards on the 44-yard punt.
Sportsmanlike conduct, kicking team number 25, as a gunner on the outside, went out of bounds and did not come back inbounds immediately. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
You certainly don't want to be delivering that message.
The question was about the enforcement of the penalty, and it should have been measured from the end of the play, not to the end of the kick. Therefore, it will now be put in play at the 45-yard line. First down.
Well, the Eagles will start out in Jets territory. One of the final plays of this first quarter. Throw on the outside is going to get positive yardage. Start the second quarter with Birds down 3 and in Jet territory. McGloin firing, but his throw went outside.
Situation either, and he's really flashed during camp.
On third down and 6, back-footed throw, and it's going to be incomplete. Once again, looking for the same man, but now you got a flag on the play, and Justin Burris is going to get called for a penalty.
About whether or not
number 32,
the ball's caught.
Automatic first down.
That's great coverage there, except he's too handsy at the end. The bottom line is there was no separation created by Marcus Johnson on either route.
Pumphrey, the lone setback, trying to make something happen around the corner. A shake and bake move, and pretty good job of keeping his balance.
He touched the ball 20 to 30 times a game for 4 years.
And there he is finding his way through the middle for a couple more down inside the 22 against the Dolphins. In the backfield now on third down and 7. Points throw right on time. Little bit of a juggle, but Hollins brought it in. Has a really good idea of what he's trying to do. 3 catches here tonight. Is Pumphrey not going to get much? Back is going to lose a yard. He needs to work on refining his route running. He's doing that over the course of this summer. McGloin throwing his way back corner, but it's well covered. No way to get that in there as Darrell Roberts was with Hollins step for step. Third down. 11 yards to go. McGloin throwing up top, and once again, the timing just not there as he tried to find Marcus Johnson.
Had to do a better job of creating some separation.
Caleb Sturgis from 33 yards out to tie it, and he does.
Chris Long right there behind Jim Schwartz.
Kind of a relaxed night for him. Now Thomas back deep to take the kick. From about 5 yards deep. Taking his time trying to set it up and never makes it back to the 20, dropped at the 18.
So
that's a problem when you got that kind of depth. This give up the middle is going to be good for first down yardage and an 11-yard burst right through the middle by Elijah McGuire, the rookie out of Louisiana Lafayette. On the 29-yard line. And again, McGuire making the first man miss. A pretty move. I'll tell you what, that shows some talent right there. And another 11-yard pickup. Could fit into the mix for New York. His throw is going to be right on time, and again, first down yardage. Chad Hansen, the rookie out of California. So 3 chunk plays for New York and 3 first downs to begin this drive. There's another one. That's going to be another first down and a lot more than that. McGuire. And the touchdown is saved by C.J. Smith all the way down at the 15 after a 40-yard run.
In the run or pass game.
He's got 4 carries and 57 yards. They switch it up in the backfield now to Marcus Murphy.
The corners can hold up this year. This should be a top 6 or 7 defense. They're really good.
Hackenberg has some time. There's the throw, and it's toward the back corner. It is caught for the touchdown. Austin Safarian-Jenkins hauling it in from 12 yards out.
I think Safarian-Jenkins is in line right there, and you can see the matchup. He's got to run with a tight end that's faster than him. Hackenberg drops it in beautifully. That's not bad coverage by Cherry. Trust me, folks. That's a tough matchup. He tries to rip it out, but that's the residue of last year, though.
It is. Extra point is on the way and good. At some point or other, he takes the reins as the potential starting quarterback. That's not going to be this year, at least not out of the gate. Ross Martin kicking this one away. Pumphrey a chance to return from the goal line. Straight ahead running out across the 25. It's Adam Zaruba in the game, motioning into the backfield. Boy, lots of time, and fires for a first down. First down from the 40. Pumphrey cutting it back. Billy Brown, the tight end right now. And on play action, McGloin lost the football. I think he thought he was throwing it. The officials don't. They think that's a fumble.
It's Coney Ely, I believe. See if it's not. Yeah, it's Coney Ely.
Yeah, he never got it back in.
A piece of their puzzle, and they end up cutting him.
That was surprising. You know a little bit about the head coach up there. He has a very specific idea of how the game is supposed to be played. Saw him already in a Bills uniform this preseason.
That's right.
Hackenberg throwing. That's a nice adjustment to the football by Chris Gregg, the tight end. He's got a first down to the 9. Gets down inside the 10-yard line. And trying to drive ahead is Marcus Murphy. Stopped there after a gain of about a yard.
There's a big period there, a big window where the medical staff and the football people get together on his future.
Second and goal, and that is a very nearly spectacular catch, but Hansen was out of bounds. Third and goal just inside the 9. Hackenberg trying to run, and he is ripped down. Qualls had a hold of him, and he wasn't going to let him go. Ross Martin, the 27-yarder, is good. And if there's a regular season game here against the Giants or the Jets, Eagles fans usually show pretty well.
Exactly right.
Pumphrey got a little hole on that right side. And outside the 30-yard line, it's going to be 33 yards on the return for Pumphrey.
Yep.
So first down from the 32, that's Treggs in motion. And McGloin on play action. And out to the near side, there's your catch for Adam Zaruba.
This has been a unique experience, man. And the players that we have here definitely just keep me going, man. It's definitely a good thing to be around.
You know, I look to my left, I look to my right. I can't be a step slow. They're making me look bad. Coming over the top. Williams almost had himself a heck of an interception.
For the Jets with a minimal amount of playing time. He's had a pretty solid career for a free agent.
Cameron Johnston punting it away. And Jihad Thomas. Oh, he's going to take a chance, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
That didn't pan out at all.
To what you might see is Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas and Ronald Darby, and that's a pretty good group right there. Positions.
He's playing it once again now on second down. And that's bottled up. It's been interesting, no doubt. Hackenberg throws and absolutely nowhere to go after the catch for Amar Morris.
Return. Now here we are on a punt return.
Lachlan Edwards. That's a good one. Might have back kicked the coverage though, back to the 30. And good coverage downfield.
Howie was smart enough to tab him for his number 2 position.
He's trying to get something going now inside the 2-minute warning, an opportunity to see if they can Hit downfield, Greg Ward to pick up of 8. Anthony Denham in the game at the tight end spot. Quick throw to the outside, and Ward's got first down yardage. Out of bounds at the 46.
7 career starts prior to this year.
They're bringing a blitz this time. McGloin has to get rid of it. That ball may have bounced. It did.
So many big plays at West Virginia a year ago. I think somebody could pick them up.
Line doing a pretty decent job of giving your quarterback time, but third down. Set up, and Pumphrey has no chance once again as he is buried.
Is Wentz and Darby really effectively become their second and third round picks?
That is a big time hitting the flag.
The kick, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, receiver signaled for a fair catch, then blocked. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
There's 2-3.
The 2 and the 3 reflected Wentz and Darby.
Jets took that timeout, but they've got a lot of field to deal with, and it looks like they're going to say discretion is the better part of valor. But
Jim Schwartz is all about trying to put these guys in positions to see whether or not they can play. A lot of man coverage.
Hackenberg throwing, and out to about the 14-yard line.
The Philadelphia Eagles probably have ever had.
Hackenberg will throw it away. Gets a chance now to get you good field position, maybe break one. An end-over-end punt from the 40. There it is. He's got room and just taken down by the ankles. So here's your opportunity now. 1st and 10 from the Jets 45. You've got 1 timeout left. McGloin had a shuffle in his feet.
Get out of bounds.
Finds the open man, and Denham spins down to the 35. McGloin stepping up. Flag on the play. Pumphrey's got it, and he's down. With 4 seconds left to go, we've got to see about this flag.
Yeah.
Illegal formation. Wide receiver was tight end. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Tonight.
You wanted a field goal attempt, you got it. And it's short and returnable? No.
Why not?
Because he stepped on the end line.
Okay. 1 teams to review.
Eagles will get the ball to start the second half, and they will get it at the 25.
And we'll deal with it.
Well, we've got the time. And off the spin move.
Preferred walk-on opportunity. The only scholarship offer was Tulsa.
He just made a nice catch on a high snap to keep that play on time, and they're going to be about a yard shy of the first down. 3rd down, called a yard. And the toss going to be blown up on the outside. Byron Marshall not going to get there. So once again, it'll be Cameron Johnston, and once again, Jahad Thomas back needs to take the punt. Kind of a twister that doesn't turn over. It's soft. That takes a Jets bounce. It'll be down at the 35. Mike's breakdowns tonight presented by Wawa. The 35-yard line, Jets come out for their first offensive series of the second half, and
Maryland, another free agent.
Hackenberg, trouble coming. Down he goes, and guess who it was?
Wow. Another team could pick him up. If he comes through clean, I think he would be on the Eagles practice squad.
They set up a screen. Lamar Morris taken down right at about the original line of scrimmage, maybe 1 yard ahead of that, and the Jets are going to punt it away. And Lachlan Edwards once again will get this one away. Pretty good one. Punter's going to call for the fair catch and take it at the 25.
Still has a lot to learn.
Nate Evans on first down, wants to throw. Tried to get it up over the top, and closing quickly on the ball and making a play was Terrence Brooks. Ball took a little too long to get all the way across the field. On 2nd down, Marshall with his head down, moves the pile forward outside the 30. Trying to run it, and nowhere to go.
And folks, I apologize. I don't even have a 69 from the Jets on my roster.
You don't? Know why? I don't either. Game 4.
Well,
there's a block in the back, which backs the Jets up 10 yards, and it's a good close on the ball by Grugier Hill. 5 special teams tackles last year in his 12 games. Good job turning off the run once again. Grimes set the edge, came in and made the tackle. It seemed like early this week the Eagles had a pretty fair idea of what that 53-man roster was going to look like, save a spot or two. Hackenberg just way too much, way too tall for Sharon Peak. We haven't block. You kind of feel like he might break one.
That's room.
Number 37. To the near sideline, and he is knocked out of bounds.
The question mark for me at tight end is Billy Brown, whether or not they can afford to keep a 4th tight end.
Nowhere to go, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Yeah, and technique, both.
A good throw to the outside, and
no drops tonight.
another opportunity here now on 3rd and long. A stunt coming in and throwing it up over the top and just flat missing his receiver.
That's a throw that can be made.
So this punt, trying to get it inside the 20-yard line. It hits. That's a nice special teams play by Hollins, who got down the field, and it is down at the 5-yard line. So from the 5-yard line, Jets go back to work, and that is Morris. Oh my! There's an opportunity for C.J. Smith. I don't know, I'd have some of your top-line receivers in the game at this point in game 4. Jets do. There's one of them. And Pete can't catch that ball that was thrown behind him.
I think what fans don't understand sometimes is that it's not an automatic penalty if you lead with the helmet or the crown of your head. It's only when it's against a defenseless player.
It's a bomb of a punt from Edwards. And pretty good coverage downfield once again for the New York Jets on a 55-yard punt. First time I ever saw him kick a ball was doing an NFL Europe game. And
being cut by Tampa is to be accurate over a period of time.
The completion right there for Billy Brown out to the 49-yard line. 3rd down, quick burst up the middle.
When you need to.
They're trying to do right here now. Marshall kind of dancing around though behind, never hit a hole, and he's going to be turned away.
Played in the 4th preseason game since 2008. You're the longest tenured athlete on this football team. What's that mean to you?
I just think that we need to face some adversity, and I think the only way you do that is go through the season. And, obviously
That, by the way, was the first down for either team in the second half. And Morris hit behind the line of scrimmage. Reinforcements arrive, and he's going to lose 2. Notice you didn't see the Cowboys in that first half either. The defending division champs. Hackenberg in some trouble. And then, of course, he quarterbacked a game in which Don Shula set the record for all-time wins. So what goes around comes around. Yeah, I tried.
I hear you. I'm going to finish that Doug Peterson story eventually, by the way.
Humphrey calling for their catch inside the 10 and all the way back down to the 7. 42-yard punt with no return.
Walked in, right then.
Everybody was going on the road trip step forward. Not so fast, Peterson. I mean, really? Flag on the play.
Ooh.
Big time hit. Xavier Coleman, the rookie out of Portland State, making that tackle.
Whoa.
The penalty is declined. Dane Evans sprinting out. Firing, and was it picked off? It was. He held on to it. Derek Jones hauls it in.
I mean, you had to see Jones.
He dropped it.
Looks like he dropped the football. And by the way, he was a wide receiver at Ole Miss, so he should be. That's probably why he's on defense. They're not.
How did they look at that and decide that was an interception? Wow. All right.
That's week 4. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, I suppose. Playing against the Eagles. Preseason game number 2. Now we're in an Eagles jersey again. Throw up over the top. I said the Jets are playing some of their frontline receivers. Jalen Marshall out of Ohio State's got a first down. Hackenberg handing off. Jihad Thomas. Second down and goal just inside the 5. Hackenberg firing too low. You're multi-talented, aren't you?
I got to produce for T-Man.
Hackenberg up top. That would have been a heck of a play, but Peak had no room to operate. And Marshall and Eric Decker not here anymore. There's a lot of inexperience at the wide receiver spot for this team. Field goal is good for the Eagles. Ross Martin kicking it away, and it's going to be an opportunity for Rashard Davis for the first time tonight. Juggling at his own goal line and powering through across the 20-yard line.
Coach's son.
Yep. Evans, pass batted down.
Pass interference. Offense, receiver blocking beyond the line of a forward pass. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That they saw. The interception, not so much. 3 and 4 quarterbacks on the depth chart doing all the work here this evening. That was right there for Gibson. Bird's offense with just 138 yards in this game here now early in the fourth quarter. Marshall found a hole, accelerates through, gets a good gain out across the 20. Third down and long. And Evans hit as he throws. The ball is incomplete. Johnson going to punt it away. An end-over-end punt fielded by Thomas. I'll check that. It's Morris.
Ooh,
Straight backwards.
Cherry.
Yep, that was good coverage downfield for Cherry. And to the ground immediately right now. Hackenberg goes play action. Throws it away because nothing was there. Third down and long. They're going to be conservative, staying right on the ground. It's going to bring the punting unit out once again for New York. Lachlan Edwards punts it away, and this time it is Rashard Davis. An opportunity to do what he does best. Making the first man miss, a little bit of a juggle. It's an adventure as he got it out to the 30. If you're keeping track at home, by the way, we have one total first down here in the second half. It belongs to the Jets. There's Davis trying to get him out in space.
Yep.
Diving ahead to the 35, makes something out of it. Second down, got to get it to the 40. Marshall, the workhorse back here in game 4, gets a yard.
Screaming at the top of their lungs here. And
I got Foles, I got McNabb. Got a first down. Dane Evans exploded.
Nice cut.
And Marshall keeps moving ahead out to the 48-yard line. That's a 6-yard pickup for the rookie out of Oklahoma State. Marshall again. That's a nice run for first down yardage into Jet territory at the 45. Marshall's got 11 carries for 47 yards in this one. Evans feels the pressure coming, and down he goes. Not a whole lot he can do. Mike Pinnell wraps him up.
Certainly did with my dad. He's like, yeah, I call him Dad a couple times, and my buddies never let me forget it.
That's no good.
No.
Oh! Late hit on Davis over at the sideline, but got to get it to the 35 for the first down. Look at this. How about that? It's going to go for a touchdown. Marcus Johnson in from 41 yards out. The play made by Dane Evans.
And it's a big loss for Armageddon. Option number 1, inside zone, fake it. Everybody's going down, so keep it. Option 3 is, as the safety fills the hole, your wide receiver, Marcus Johnson, has been stalk blocking, and then he pretends to block. Look, okay, yep. Now, Armageddon, what are you doing?
Now in this post-apocalyptic world, the Eagles are now back to within 6 along that defensive front. Geico drive summary, an 8-play, 70-yard drive. And now, an opportunity for Romar Morris to try to run it out. And a flag comes down on the play.
During the return of the kick, holding receiving team number 50. This penalty be assessed half the distance of the goal. First down.
He was a good Santa
He said
Claus.
he was a good Santa Claus.
They'd have cheered him.
They would have cheered him. He said, but he said the fans know what they're talking about. They saw a bad Santa Claus. The Santa Claus got what he deserved. trying to come up with a stop here.
Knowing my career was at stake. Sure.
Fortunately, he didn't run at the Don's shoulder. The pass is incomplete. Stops the clock. 5:35 to go.
In the 4:30 in the morning, and I couldn't get in. There was nobody there.
So you just sat there?
I sat in my car till about 6 when the first coach showed up.
Let's take over on the 30-yard line, down by 6. Marshall, good patience to the outside. Love to add to that by leading a game-winning drive here. And Marshall's trying to help him.
Marshall's got really good lateral quickness.
And now you're first down at the 48-yard line with 4:49 to go. Oh, that was a very dangerous throw. David Rivers could not make the interception. It was right there for the taking. Evans firing, and he got it in there.
She was a soccer player at Tulsa.
By the way, folks, Mike worked on that pronunciation for a good 10 minutes before we started tonight. Big play. And Evans makes that play. Wow. Great throw, and Davis hauls it in.
Late
flag, yep.
Threw it
Pass
early.
interference. Offense, number 16. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Where?
I don't.
All right.
Challenge flag is
Yeah.
out. Yep.
Because they'll get the change of possession right there, right?
Correct.
Refuse the penalty. Play stands, you get better field position.
Exactly.
If you're the Jets.
Yep.
New York Jets are challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
Okay, possession 1. Second foot's out.
To review, the pass was incomplete at the sideline. Therefore, the New York Jets will decline the penalty and on downs will take over possession at the 46-yard line. First down.
Defense done a very good job here in the second half.
Hamilton again.
Back to the ground. It's turned off once again after a gain of 2 and a quick timeout with 3:29 to go.
You're going to be working.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Chiefs and Pats, man.
Yeah.
They're going to be the favorite again in the AFC.
Yep. Tired of the NFL. Shard Davis decided to take a risk.
Yep. And I would challenge anybody in the league to say they have a better group.
They don't. Marshall ripped down by Derek Jones. Reach out to the near side. Denham. Evans trying to make something happen. Lets it go downfield. Look at this. Oh my goodness.
It's a linebacker.
Connor Harris, a rookie out of Lindenwood. He couldn't get the throw any further, but he was throwing across his body while he was still moving. It's about as far as he was going to get the ball downfield. He was elected to punt it away. 2:09 left to go, a 41-yard punt, and another strong defensive play. It's going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. All in anticipation of getting to that final roster and getting to week 1. Fumble! Oh my! Miracle at the Meadowlands time! Here we go!
Where's Herm? Cue Herm Edwards.
Here we go! Sarchik and Larzanka.
That's almost unbelievable. And the linebacker that got signed this week, Christian Tago, falls on the football.
Just saying, this is my night.
Yeah, man.
And through the hands of Marshall. Pass rush coming. Evans kind of had nowhere to go. Tried to throw it to Marshall.
And he plays every snap like his hair's on fire, and he's got a lot of hair.
This time they give him a little bit more time, and the throw is right on time for a first down inside the 15. You come this far, win it now, right? Evans firing, got it inside the 5. And down near the goal line is Gibson. Working out of the shotgun, they'll run it. Marshall nowhere to go, buried under, and now they got to get back to the line of scrimmage quickly.
Yeah, I thought,
even though the clock runs. Evans firing, incomplete. Out in front of Davis. 3 receivers out to the right side, just the tight end Denham to the left. 3rd down and goal. Evans ducking, and down he goes. It's going to come down to 1 4th down play. They're barely going to be able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Here's your ball game. Evans throwing, incomplete. Just came up a buck short. Hackenberg takes the knee, and the Jets will win this final preseason game. 16-10 the final. And a big smile for 2 guys who work together on the same Eagles staff.